Hey folks, Bridgett Howard here from your Jackson Kayak fishing team, and I'm super excited to be introducing the new Jackson Kayak Big Rig HDFD in the FD configuration. The Big Rig has been a fan favorite for many years. Why? Because it's stable and you can pack a whole lot of gear on it. You asked for a pedal drive version of the Big Rig, and that's what we've done. So let's take a look at some of the features on the Big Rig that set it apart. Starting up here at the bow of the kayak, we've improved our handles significantly. So it's a lot grippier, softer, more comfortable to carry your kayak around. We've done that on most of Jackson kayaks for this year. Here we've got a nice big tank well. We've got a Hypalon paddle keeper that's gonna let you tuck your paddle in there if you needed to do something real quick. You've got a hinging hatch cover that you flip over just like this, and that's gonna give you easy access to the inside of your kayak. Opening it up here, we have a front hatch bin. Why do you need one of these? Well, anytime that you're out on the water, getting ready for the day, throw a whole bunch of gear into the front of your kayak, everything rolls to the back, right? Well, the front hatch bin is gonna be a nice, handy spot for you to throw smaller items that you don't necessarily want to end up in the stern of your kayak. Now also, you're still going to have that really nice through-hull storage, so you're gonna be able to tuck your rods, your overnight gear, camping gear, whatever you might want down into that hatch. On the original Big Rig, you had 2 rod tip protectors along with the rod troughs. Well, on the Big Rig HDFD, big is better, so we've doubled the amount of rod tip protection that you've got, going from 2 to 4, and also increased the width on the rod trough storage just a touch, just to give you that extra capacity. Moving back, instead of just the pod area that you have on the HD version of the Big Rig, on the FD version, that FD, of course, stands for our Flex Drive unit. The Flex Drive system is incredibly unique in the market, and in that you can run over shallow water obstacles without any problem. That drive's gonna kick right up and be protected by the hull. This really lets you get into areas that you haven't been able to get into before with a pedal-driven kayak, like grassy areas and big stump fields, that kind of thing. Really cool, unique feature about our Flex Drive. The whole center pod system here that you can see in that slightly darker shade of gray is also interchangeable with the HD pod. So if you're going out on some water that's really skinny, you're gonna be dragging through a bunch of shoals, you're gonna be able to swap out the Flex Drive pod for the paddle pod. Also, if you decide that paddling isn't necessarily what you're feeling that particular day, do remember that we've got our electric drive that with no problem at all, you're gonna be able to pop this upper unit off, pop that motorized head unit right on here, twist that throttle, and just troll your way down the bank. Paddle, tackle, gear management, super important to us. Being able to set your paddle down, I like to have a paddle with me always as a backup, just for some extra tight maneuvering. So we've got paddle clips here on the gunnels here on either side. That's gonna let you just snap that paddle right into place, get it out of your way, but still keep it close reach. The transducer scupper on the Big Rig HD is sized a little bit bigger than a lot of our other transducer scuppers have been. This is gonna be sized to accommodate more of your down vision and side scan sonar setups for your fish finders. So as those units have gotten bigger, so too has our scupper hole. As you're familiar with on most Jackson kayaks, we have an abundance of Yak Attack gear track. We've got some up here, we've got some directly beside the seat, and also some behind the seat. Moving back, we've got Jackson Kayak's trimmable high-low seat. On the Big Rig, in particular, this is an ergonomic curve to this seat. So what does that mean? That means that your back is comfortable and supported all day while you're out there pedaling along. You've got molly webbing on the back here. You've also got molly webbing underneath of the seat, and that's gonna allow you to add any molly type accessories to either the side or underside of your seat to really help you dial in that storage. It also comes standard with a Jackson Kayak branded pouch, which has spots for tools, utensils, and fits 2 2600 series Plano boxes perfectly. Scooting just a little bit further back, you're gonna notice that the Big Rig HDFD is the first kayak that we've introduced this really unique rod staging system. So This rod staging system is two-tiered, and that's gonna allow that separation between your two rods and two reels. So if you need to set down your rod really quick, change out for something else, that's gonna keep you from knocking your rod down into the water. Directly to the side of your seat, you're going to have your hand rudder controls. So that's gonna kick that rudder back and forth for you, which we're gonna talk a little bit more about the really unique rudder system momentarily. A little further back here, you'll also notice that we have the fly reel pocket here, along with the fly rod management system that you're gonna be able to run up to a 9-foot long fly rod and keep that secure on either side of your boat. We've also got the Yak Attack Omega rod holder, which comes standard on the Big Rig HDFD. Super handy, super cool. Flush mount rod holders. You have a big rear tank well here with an adjustable bungee system that's gonna let you put all kind of gear back here behind the seat. And then back here on the back, of course, we have the large hatch system, which is gonna give you access to that rudder if you need it. So the original Big Rig was an extremely steady kayak, but it wasn't the fastest, and it definitely wasn't the most nimble. So what we've done on the Big Rig HDFD is along the keel, that the keel works in concert with the rudder. So these two are working together to really, really heighten the maneuverability that you have in this kayak. So you simply hit these little rudder controls right here on either side of your seat, and instead of taking a long sweeping turnaround, that's gonna let you essentially turn on a dime. So that's something that we just didn't see out of the original Big Rig, and it's something that we're extremely excited to highlight and feature on the new Big Rig HDFD. So quick stats on the Big Rig HDFD. She comes in at 13 feet, 3 inches long, about 40 inches wide at the top. And you might be thinking to yourself, oh my goodness, that's so much wider than the original Big Rig. And that's all above the water line. So even though this boat is wider, it doesn't slow it down. There's a lot more to see, more stories to read, check out over at jacksonkayak.com. Be sure to go by your local Jackson Kayak dealer and find out why big really is better.